Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at an update to a story I covered recently. A few weeks back, we heard about Grace, a person who suffered heat exhaustion during a hike at Yosemite and had to be airlifted out by helicopter. This caused a meltdown in the comments, with many people thinking it was insane to need this type of rescue for a 2-mile hike. In the previous video, I joked about how expensive it would be to get airlifted out by helicopter, but now we know exactly how much this rescue cost: $70,000. And the wildest part is that the entire group is being charged. That's right, they are trying to make the entire hiking group bear the cost of Grace's rescue. We're going to be learning about this story as well as reading some of the comments, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
A girl named Grace suffered heat exhaustion after hiking just 2 miles, and her hiking group could now be facing a $70,000 helicopter rescue bill.
Her entire group is being charged for this. What?
The video showed Grace starting the hike before later being airlifted by a search.
There's the space blanket that I was tripping out about. Although I guess it makes sense if you're hot, they put that on you with the reflective side facing out, kind of like that thing you put in your windshield that reflects the sunlight away.
Grace starting the hike before later being airlifted by a search and rescue helicopter. Grace became too weak to continue after walking about 2 miles, so the group...
I love how they word it like that. She became too weak to continue? I thought she had heat exhaustion.
stopped while guides wrapped her in an emergency blanket and called for a helicopter. Many people focused on Grace's size, arguing that her physical condition may have made the hike more difficult. Others pushed back, saying she is an adult who chose to join the hike and that heat exhaustion can happen to anyone in extreme temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, it can. It was a little wild, like I said in the previous video, to bring a whole helicopter into this situation. I feel like we could have just sat in the shade, drank some liquids, and then eventually walked back.
Many users questioned why a helicopter was needed for a trail that was only about 2 miles long, with some saying it would have been faster to walk back.
Okay, did you guys watch my video?
Others argued that once someone is suffering from serious heat exhaustion, moving them without medical help could make the situation worse.
No, that's true, and I believe they were on the mist trail. Like I said in the previous video, the mist trail had a bunch of mist on it, making it all humid and stuff, which makes you a lot hotter. On a hot day when it's all humid, you can't sweat properly and cool off. That's why the heat is 10 times worse when it's humid outside.
The $70,000 rescue bill has added even more controversy. The members of Grace's hiking group may have to share the cost of the helicopter, leaving the entire group facing a huge bill after what started as a short hike. What do you think?
Okay, if I was in Grace's hiking group, I am not paying for her rescue. I don't care. You could send me the bill all you want, dude. Send it to me 10 times. I am not paying for this. How do you expect her hiking group to pay for this? Why? Let's see, what were there, like 7 of them? So that, what is that, 10 grand each? Like, no, I am not paying 10 grand because they came and helicopter rescued you, Grace. What are we doing? Why are they trying to charge the entire group because she needed a helicopter rescue? First of all, when I went to hike on a trail, I didn't sign anything. I just showed up and started hiking, so I'm not paying for anything. You guys could sue me or whatever you need to do. I didn't sign anything. Like, no, I'm not paying for that. All right, here's another video that has the same exact audio that we just listened to in that previous one, but this has different video. I'm only including this so we can see different angles of the incident.
A girl named Grace suffered heat exhaustion after hiking just 2 miles.
See, it's the same exact audio from that other news clip.
And her hiking group could now be facing a $70,000 helicopter rescue bill.
I'm watching it just so we can see different footage of the rescue. I'm going to mute it now. So here they are hiking up the mountain. All right. There's Grace dangling from the bottom of that helicopter. That $70,000 helicopter. Oh, you're killing me, Grace. She became too weak to continue. You sure she didn't get heat exhaustion, narrator? There's her friends like, man, what in the hell? Hold on, that footage there is funny. Your friend is filming you, and then they also get a selfie of them looking at the camera like, what? Can you believe this? That's what I'm getting. This look right here is like, really? Look at her. And then she looks back at the camera, looks back at Grace. Oh my goodness. My favorite part of that last video is when Grace was dangling from the bottom of the helicopter and one of her friends yelled out, "You got this, Grace!" They were very supportive. Okay, there's her in the space blanket. Ooh, look at that beautiful rainbow on that trail. Is this the mist trail? Is this actually the mist trail that they went on? I'm sure it's beautiful, but on a hot day, that mist is gonna make it muggier than a mug in that mug. Is this actual footage? They brought out like a whole crew for this. Okay, I feel like we got a lot more images and video of the rescue in these clips than we did in the original video. And there she is, hanging from the bottom of that helicopter. Man, that's terrifying. Some people in my comment section were like, "Oh, that would be fun. Imagine the view." Dude, I would be scared. Dangling down from this long-ass rope. Like a helicopter's 300 feet up there and you're hanging down from this rope, swinging around. There was this one incident a long time ago where they were airlifting somebody out of something and they just started spinning out of control. I don't remember what the heck it was, but
The old woman was airlifted after a fall in the mountains, but during the rescue, the stretcher spun out of control. As you can see, officials say a line attached to the basket is supposed to keep it from spinning, but that didn't happen.
all right, here's her hiking group who are all going to be charged for this rescue now. Okay, so we got to see a lot of different angles of the rescue in those couple of videos right there. I can't believe they're trying to charge the whole group $70,000 for this. I would love to hear an explanation for why. Now let's take a look at some of the comments. All right, some of these comments are making fun of Grace for her size, which I do not support. This person says, overheated? No. Overeated? Yes. This comment says, broke my fibula 13 miles in and hiked the remaining 5 miles to my car and then drove to urgent care for an x-ray. But she gets airlifted after 2 miles. Life just isn't fair. Well, you sound like a badass, honestly. You hiked 5 miles with a broken fibula? Oh my goodness. At least it wasn't your tibula, you know? The fib is fine, but the tib, then you're screwed. No, I'm sorry. That was a tibula-fibula joke. These are leg bones, folks. These are leg bones. Someone responds to that and says, mad respect. Yeah, that's pretty badass, dude. You hiked 5 miles with a broken fibula? Oh my God. The fibula or calf bone is the long, slender bone located on the outer, lateral side of the lower leg, running parallel to the tibia, shin bone. So it's your calf bone. Oh man. Oh, broke a calf bone and kept walking for 5 miles. Oh my God, that dude is a badass. This person says Grace should pay, not everyone else's fault. I agree with that. I think everybody on Earth would agree with that. I cannot even wrap my head around why we would try to charge everybody else in the hiking group. Grace ain't good for it. You ain't got 70 grand laying around, Grace. What the heck? Don't be trying to make me pay for it. I got nothing to do with this. Me and Jeff were back there rolling our eyes while this happened. Peter Kahn says, 2 miles, that's nothing. It's not really crazy long. I just jogged like 3 miles yesterday casually, so I'm not saying but it wasn't on the mist trail where it's all muggy and stuff, so that's why I was able to casually jog 3 miles. Dude, this comment is stupid. This guy says helicopters can lift more than I thought. Boing. Boing. Like, dude, stop. All right. People want to make weight-based jokes, which I do not agree with, but that is just straight up stupid. Like a lift her? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Shut up. This person says, pro hiker tip, only hike with people who are in shape. I'll hike with anybody, but if you need to be airlifted out, I am not paying for that, buddy. I am not brunting the cost of that. This comment reads, she chose as an adult who is clearly not in adequate shape to pursue a trek that they were not equipped for. This is blatant negligence and ignorance on their part. This is the issue with social media. It has made people think that after never spending adequate time outdoors, that they can willy-nilly go exploring. Yeah, she got this idea from social media that she could go hike a trail. This is a weird comment. The outdoors has dangers of all kinds. Don't risk other people's lives for your lack of consideration. Okay, I agree that she should have known her limits. However, I don't think that this is the issue with social media. It makes people think that after never spending adequate time outdoors, that they can willy-nilly go exploring. That's not my issue with social media. Is that it's got people thinking they can go explore the outdoors more freely. Like, that is not my issue with social media. This person says organizers bear the responsibility. It's why unaffiliated hiking meetups are nearly extinct. No, they're not. There are lots of hiking groups that meet up in my area. And I disagree that the organizers bear the responsibility. Is that why they're trying to charge everybody $70,000? This was your guys' idea. Or was Grace like, I didn't even want to go hiking, they made me. This person says a little honesty could have prevented all of this. Maybe when they were like, hey, you want to go hiking? She should have been like, nah, I don't know if I could actually do that. Maybe she felt pressured to go on this hike, even though it was outside of her comfort level. Maybe she was too embarrassed to say that she couldn't do the hike, so she went on this hike with these people. I don't know. Maybe she thought that she could actually do it, and she didn't realize that it would be an issue. This person says people walk more at Disneyland. Yeah, but it's not uphill and it's not misty. I'm gonna keep going back to that mist. I hate the humidity, man. You know what I mean? This person says, I think a woman named Grace should pay. Why should the group pay? Why did we word it like that? Because the video starts off, a girl named Grace. It doesn't even say woman. It says a girl named Grace.
A girl named Grace.
See? This person says no one should pay. A rescue should be something covered by the taxes we all pay. In the US, you gotta pay for everything, dude. We see that you were dying on the side of the road. That's why we came and picked you up in an ambulance and took you to the hospital. By the way, here's your bill. $60,000 for a 10-minute ambulance ride. You are kidding. What? Dude, why didn't you just leave me on the side of the road? What the hell? I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'd rather perish than pay that. Can I say that? Can I say that? It's the truth, man. This person says a gym membership would have costed around $35. They should have just rolled her back down if it was only 2 miles. Lamau. And here's another comment that says the same thing. They should have just rolled her down the hill. It probably would have been faster. Okay, which one of you said this first? Who said this first? Was it Strickland MMA? All right, this guy. Sean Strickland. 3.2 million followers. Oh, you're a very famous man. Okay. That's funny that he left a comment on this. We got famous MMA fighters leaving comments on this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this dude is super famous. This comment reads, you can't hydrate with Mountain Dew. And then the comment right under it says, it's called drink water and not Mountain Dew. Boing. Everybody's just copying each other. That's what's going on. This person says gym membership would have saved $70,000. Zena Foster says nobody in that group is responsible to pay that bill except for her. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think there's one person on earth that agrees that the entire group should pay for that. That doesn't make any sense. This is ridiculous. And I'm sure all of Grace's friends are very angry, but it's honestly not her fault that they're trying to charge them all for this. This person says, I'm not throwing shade because I'm big myself, but big people know damn well walking or running is not meant for us. I bet you if a bear would have found y'all, she would have made it without that $70K bill. Okay, you're saying a bear would have scared her the rest of the way up the hill? Or is this that old choose the bear thing that people were on about for a minute there? Either way, this person says they're big themselves and they know that walking and running is not meant for bigger people. Yeah, when I was larger, I also could not jog, couldn't do a whole lot of cardio. This person says Grace is the only person that needed rescue. Grace is the only person being billed. Period. I think that you need to put a T on the end of period there. Period. Because that's legit and nobody can argue with that. Let's see if anybody tries to argue with that. You will catch these hands, son. I swear to God, you'll catch these hands in these comments. Hold on, nobody disagrees, of course. Some people say government should be paying for it, not the citizens. What do you guys think? Do you think that the person who needed the rescue should pay for it, or it should be covered by the government or taxes or some sort of public safety fund? I'm not sure. I know it definitely sucks to get an outrageous bill after you just went through something traumatic, like you get into a terrible accident and you're recovering in the hospital and they send you the bill for the ambulance ride. and the ambulance ride itself costs like $30,000 for a 10-minute ride for 5 miles from here to there or whatever, it's like $80,000 or something. Like, that's a bummer to get stuck with that. Although maybe we could just make ambulance rides a little cheaper. You know, I don't know why it's like $40,000 for a 10-minute ambulance ride. You guys seem to be rolling around in these things constantly. It's not like you had to bust it out from storage or something. You're constantly rolling around in this thing. An ambulance takes a very special type of fuel. What? Why is it so expensive? This person says Grace would be paying that $70,000 by herself. I finished my hike, Pooh. Sorry, Pookie, you're gonna have to pay that by yourself. I finished my portion of the hike. I was at the top of the mountain, actually, watching y'all down there. I was like, where the hell is this helicopter coming from? Okay, we have to read this comment. This comment says, stop spreading misinformation. This incident happened in 2024, the entirety of which was documented in real time by her hiking group. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? The group had already spent several days hiking Yosemite, and Grace was more than capable of keeping up. On the mist trail, she got chilled while walking through the mist at Vernal Falls. They stopped for mini breaks and also lunch before continuing on to Clark's Point. At Clark's Point, Grace began showing signs of heat exhaustion, potentially exacerbated by the rapid temperature change coming out of the cold mist. She had chills, a late and very dangerous sign of heat exhaustion, nausea, headache, and at least one episode of uncontrolled diarrhea off the trail. Okay. The responding SAR team recorded her blood pressure at 200/100. Because the mist trail is almost entirely stairs, the decision was made that it was easier, faster, and more appropriate to airlift her back to the parking lot to the waiting medical team as opposed to taking another 3 hours to slowly hike her back down the stairs. This was a decision made by Yosar, not Grace. They hoisted her into the helicopter and landed back at the parking lot. There was never a $70,000 bill. Yosar is a paid search and rescue team, and the NPS maintains a fleet of helicopters that they use in NPS aviation activities. The cost of SAR in Yosemite is paid by a combination of NPS park funds, donations, and philanthropic funds. The only time SAR charges for services is in cases of extreme negligence, which is even still difficult to prove. Grace was not negligent. She was on a guided hike of the Mist Trail Loop, had been successfully hiking for days leading up to her medical emergency. She had appropriate food and water and simply became heat exhausted. I've been a paramedic for 15 years, NASAR certified as a level 1 SAR tech, and certified in swift water and high angle rescue. Everyone deserves to enjoy our national parks and the outdoors, and sometimes medical emergencies happen. No one goes into SAR because they hate helping people. We do it because we value the outdoors and want to help others also safely love and appreciate the outdoors. There is no judgment when emergencies happen. Okay, thank you very much for your service, helping people, rescuing people. That's awesome. Also, if all of this is true, thank you very much for the additional context. If this is the actual story, I'm not the slightest bit surprised. So this is actually something that happened in 2024, and all of these news agencies revitalized the story and pretended like it happened recently, and also added on this $70,000 rescue bill. This person responds to that and says, boom, this. Someone responds to them again and says, false information. Someone else responds and says, blah, 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 blah. What? So this person gave you all of this additional information about this incident, and this guy is so intelligent that he responds by saying blah, 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 blah. That was longer than 10 words. I can't read all of that. Wow, what do you mean blah, 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 blah? And that has 9 likes. So 9 people agree that reading words is too difficult. What do you mean a bunch of words? Blah, blah, blah. What are you talking about? It's called reading. Okay, it's called a paragraph. We read it, and then we comprehend what it says, and then we have additional information. This person responds and says, I knew you were lying when you said that morbidly obese woman spent days on the mountain. It happened 1 day ago. And then they give a reference article. Couldn't find that page, buddy. Okay, so I don't know if that person was right or not. This person says, love my friends down. But listen, the only thing I would have been paying that day is my respects. You love your friends down. Okay, I don't know what that means. I guess that means you love them a lot. My friends don't love me that hard. I wish they would. Sorry about that. Now, she knew her body wasn't ready for all of that walking. Sometimes we just have to be honest with ourselves. Yeah, I would say you shouldn't do things that are outside of your comfort level. I'm not sure if that other comment was correct and she'd actually been hiking for days, or if these stories are actually accurate. It's so hard to tell. Safety first. At least she acknowledged the signs and symptoms. Heat exhaustion can lead to a heat stroke. Heat categories exist and people need to be educated on them when out in the heat. I agree. Safety first, absolutely. If you were having some sort of heat exhaustion which might lead to a heat stroke, absolutely do whatever you need to take care of that. And if that involves getting help from emergency personnel, then do it, obviously. This person says, "Group, I don't speak French, ain't no we around here." She knew she couldn't walk a mile, but decided to go hiking at Yosemite? Please. Unless that's my child or husband, there's no way I'm paying someone else's $70,000 bill. You chose to do this. You knew what this hike was about. You're an adult. That's your bill. This person says less than 2 miles. I would never talk to her again. Nobody in that group is responsible to pay that bill except for her. Okay, and we're gonna wrap up the video right there. Alright, so as you can see, everyone agrees that it's ridiculous that they're trying to charge the entire group for that $70,000 helicopter ride. If Grace is the one that needed rescue, Grace is the one that should pay for it. Also, we saw a comment from someone claiming that this story was actually back from 2024. If that's the case, this is really wild, and I wouldn't be that surprised. I saw 2 different news article stories that had the same exact audio, but different visuals, which was really weird and a little suspicious, honestly. So maybe this is a rehashing of that 2024 story with added elements to make it more outrageous to get the clicks. I'm not sure. Either way, what do you think of this story? Leave a comment below. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.